You know, one thing I think I can confidently say, or say with confidence, is nobody has ever thought about taking a table and putting it out in the middle of the freaking woods and working on saws. And, of course, the other piece, talking about it and putting it on video.
Should we spin this?
Let's see what we got first. And we can move this thing around.
Look, well, I guess, so we're going to look, where are we going to work? We're going to work these ends, work on the same side, work opposite sides. We don't have to be on the table either.
Well, the first thing I got to do is figure out whether or not this thing is got a top end, so.
It doesn't feel like it.
Oh, by the
I got
way.
top ends. How many do you want?
Yeah.
Pick 4 of them.
So this video here is kind of a.
Oh, are we on?
Yeah.
I don't know if we started yet.
No, that's why it's best when we do it impromptu like that.
Yeah, but you never know what kind of stupid thing I could come up with not knowing I'm being recorded.
That's it. You might want to take a look at the picture and see if I've got everything in there, or do we have to move it up some?
No, I think it's going to be all right.
All right.
Maybe just a little bit to the left.
All right. I'm going to take this thing apart. This is called field repair. Of course, I bring the wrong scrunch. And the brass hammer, it stays on the table. See?
What is this? The symbolic thing
Brass
about
hammer
the brass
mechanics?
hammer?
That's a holdover from Colorado. They had the excavating company out there, and I had this one mechanic, and I'm going to say his name because you'll never see this. If he does, you'll laugh. His name was Gary Cal, and he was a trucker turned mechanic. The guy was full freaking strong, and when it came time to do things like putting up Hendrickson rear suspension components, and like I used to get them changed over to urethanes and stuff like that in the trucks.
Yeah.
Gary was your man. Well, Mary had this Pontiac. It was one of those supercharged ones. SSEIs.
Yep.
She loved that car. And it had a little electrical problem in the dashboard. So Gary offered to fix it, and of course, since he was my main mechanic, I was grateful for the chance to have someone take care of it and not have to send it to the dealer. Well, needless to say, that car was never the same. By the time he got through, his hands and arms were so big in there, he just tore apart everything electric in that dashboard. The dashboard never went on right. The car was never the same. So, for one of his Christmas presents, I gave him this brass hammer, kind of like this, because he was my brass hammer mechanic.
So we kind of mentioned what the heck we're doing here today. The purpose of the day.
Go ahead, shoot.
The purpose of the day is kind of a follow-up to that 5155 deal. We got a couple of junkers here. Out of the pile of junk, some of this was in the first video. So we're going to just do a little throw them together operation here. Some of the work, there was some prep work done because we're quite a ways away from the parts cabinet. And there's a few things here that I got some gaskets. I got some of those little grommets that I know that we're going to need. All right, intake gaskets. I got an extra coil, all kinds of hardware, mounts, base gaskets. So trying to be a little. And some of the saws that we got here were also kind of already done.
This
play
one
with these.
was it?
Huh?
This one was kind of a surprise.
Yeah. Well, you didn't even know you had that.
No, I didn't.
Both of these feel, just by pulling the rope, that they're kind of wiped.
So kind of going under that assumption, because Bob has a whole bunch of top ends.
Yeah, we got kind of a box of top ends.
So if you were to do the old sub $100 saw project, because that's really the genesis of a lot of this, that plus Bob likes these 55s and has been berating me now for how long?
Well, quite a while that you got to kind of embrace this. Yeah, you have focused a lot on a particular chassis or family of saws and really in depth and analyze the heck out of them. But then there's like so many that you were kind of missing out on. The you know, like the 281. You know,
Yeah.
oh, there's an eye opener. You know, when I gave you that 257, and then you got into that and the 254s, it's like, well, then that family becomes an eye opener.
You know, I have another 357.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah,
257.
that one's got to get done too. That chassis needs to be
See, we're not anywhere near done, guys.
included. This being out in the woods is kind of, you want to tinker on stuff, and after the kind of winter that we've had, we sure the heck don't want to be doing bench work inside.
Yeah.
There's not that very many people do bench work outside in the middle of the woods. This is kind of a different approach. No, it's not a big deal. I mean, just to get it going. What'd you do? You got the nut stuck in there?
Yeah. I'm going to take some hammering to get it out of there.
Here too.
It's going to go out the other end. It goes all the way through. There it goes. See, that's the way it's doing it. Hang on. You need this?
Yeah. What size is this? That's a 5?
4.
4.
This is a 4 too.
Oh. Yeah, we're going to those 390s. The dollar target was a $300 saw. So to kind of squeeze things a little bit more, the target on these things is $100 saw. We got all kinds of random hardware here, because I have not been into this one at all. But if you can get a bunch of these things, and you can get done completed running saws for $100, have you not really beat the system? I mean, really. You know, there's the kit saws, all those Red Max knockoffs you can buy on eBay. You know, it's real feasible. Even if you need a complete top end, you can get an aftermarket top end for what, $25 or something?
Yeah.
Probably.
These are K-screws too?
Huh?
That's a K-screw?
Yeah. The only two components that would really throw off the target there would be if you needed a carburetor or a coil. All right. The carburetors,
Yeah.
retail for like $60. The coils retail. That's shot. The coils retail for $70. So if you got to buy either one of those, your budget is shot. But you're still going to have a, you know, so maybe a $200 saw. Oh, yeah, of course. As long as we got spark and compression, we're running. This one's got they came off of those that pile of saws that were in the first video at my shop.
It's got spark.
Huh?
It's got spark. It was running right before it stopped. Right?
Yeah.
I'll look at it.
This
Go ahead.
huh?
Nope. Nope. No, that's interesting. Okay. Is that top out or is that?
What's that?
Does that have a screw that holds it in?
What?
This right here.
Yeah, there's 2 of them. Oh, you already got them.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what? You got to just pry this off. Your air intake.
Another rubber band.
Pliable material is a better sounding term for that. You know, the earlier ones don't have that. They don't have the, they want air injections. They didn't have this.
There you go. It's apart.
And it is wiped.
It is wiped.
Well, we got to use a lot of rags on that one.
I'm going to go get the chair.
Why don't you take it down and wash it in the creek?
You know, I figure a little bit of dirt's not gonna hurt nothing. It's just wood.
Yeah.
You know.
What, are you gonna sit down on us again?
Yeah. Get me closer to the level here. Next question, Bob.
Yeah.
No base gasket build on these?
I don't know. You know, it's like, it's a really thin gasket. Which here you can take a look at one. It's such a thin gasket that it's like, well, how much do you gain by
Taking it out.
messing around with the goop? The other thing is, you notice on these 55 cylinders how big the hole is on the top through the fins?
Yeah.
To get, well, the reason is on the earlier ones, on the 50s and on the Partners and the 490 Johnsrids, they didn't have an Allen key bolt. It was like it was an 8mm bolt. So they gave you room to get the socket in there. This is a nice day.
This is a beautiful day.
The camera ain't pointing up at the sky, but if it was, there's absolutely zero clouds. I mean, there's nothing. Now, if you go looking at a dealer for these things, you know, Walt was talking about pride.
A lack of it.
One of the reasons you get like a weird look when you go in is because the first thing that the guys wondered is, well, what the hell are you going to do with it? You know, and I think you just come clean right away and just tell them, you know what, I'm kind of into working on old saws. I like to put saws together. What do you got in your dead saw pile? You got any stuff, you know, you're looking to get rid of, or, you know, just kind of like tell them what you're going to do. And also you say, yeah, you know, I'm probably going to need some parts, you know, I'm going to tear them apart, but just kind of a hobby thing. Some guys might still look at you like you're crazy.
You got
but
three guys.
But a lot of them are gonna, you know, they're gonna say, "Oh yeah, sure, I got tons of these things," and you know, because when you have a few of these, you're gonna think like, "Well, yeah, I got some parts here," but you know, when you start having like 15 of these things sitting around, they're in the way. So the guy, you know, a little bit of cash. The other advantage to buying a few at a time, because A, you got a little extra parts supply for stuff you don't anticipate. B, and I think part of what we're tapping into here with these buying a pile of dead saws is you're going to end up with more than one saw. You say, you know, another thing too is you tell the guy, instead of like how much per saw, like say $50, you'll say, well, what do you want for that, for like that bunch there? You know, so you get a little more discount, and yeah, you have a couple to sell, a couple to keep. And I think part of the fun too is that you also have not just extra saws, but the whole idea is here, I think you kind of enjoy doing this kind of stuff, so now you have extra projects to play around with.
Yeah, these are puzzles. These are saw puzzles. Do as I say.
There's that old saying, you're in the field, soldier.
Do as I say, not as I've done.
Well, I'm anticipating somebody like watching that and oh no, you can't do that, you know.
Oh, we
You
get
know, so
that
we know a couple people that would post specifically about that because they have corrective
There was
personality.
one guy who actually posted a whole video about whether or not you
What?
put in the fuel tank one way or the other.
Oh, what, Matt? Matt's cool.
He's all right.
Matt's, Matt's cool. But
Correct.
when we see him in a couple weeks, we'll all have a little fun picking on each other, I guess. Don't take it personal, Matt, because you know Walt and I are picking on each other all the time.
You should be honored.
So yeah, right. You're in the club.
You're in the club now.
I'm going to give this crankcase a little bit of a rinse. It's nice and smooth and quiet.
I was going to say, be careful.
What?
I shouldn't tell this story. It should not be on the video.
Well, you could edit it out, but I want to hear it.
Okay. Well, we have one guy at the highway department who's notorious for being kind of on the crude side. And Jimmy's, you know who you are. And
yeah, you could say that if you're not going to put it in.
I know. I could say if I do put it in, he wouldn't care. But he worked at the landfill for a long time and didn't get along with the guys up there very well. But one of the things we had to do on the plows is we had to go up and open the gate at the landfill, go in there and plow it out with the big trucks,
Yeah.
so they could get there in the morning. And there was padlock on that gate. And every once in a while that padlock would freeze up. So Jimmy got up there one morning and tried to open up the padlock and turned the key and it wasn't opening, it was frozen. So What do you think he had for resources to warm up that padlock? See, it didn't even cross your mind.
I thought you were going to say he just got mad and drove the truck through the gate.
No, he peed all over the damn thing.
Oh, God. Well, I'm not going to pee in the saw. I am going to go get some washing solvent here.
So he did that. The guys got there in the morning and they saw all that all over the lock. Needless to say, they were a little upset. This one's going to go back
before
together.
you put that on, one little thing, because you always like to look at ports in cross-sectional area. Look at the size, the difference in the ports on the 46 versus the 44.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah.
Well, this place in that area. But
Right.
they got this, well, no, these are a lot bigger. No matter how you cut it.
Oh, yeah, they are.
So this has not only got more displacement, but it's got a lot. Why don't you bring this up to the camera? Make sure it's still running too. 44, this one, 46.
This one is not tapped for the deco, which is good. This deco on the one that you took apart is was probably leaking pretty bad by the way it's bent like that.
That's probably why it died.
That could have been. Decos leak. They leak a lot more than anybody thinks they do.
But
Well, like I've said in the past, it's a little bit of wisdom. And I remember I kind of come up with this at a funeral for a family member, and you know you're going. Some people are going to have regrets about this, that, and the other thing. Nobody ever wishes that they worked more.
retirement to me means changing focus from driving a truck and driving a snowplow at night to doing more things like this and maybe selling things. So, yeah, the channel's going to have to reflect that decision. See, basically the channel's about sharing life, Bob.
Yeah.
So why not share that too? It's not like I'm the only person going through this retirement thing.
And there's something here that really I can't let go right now. While he's searching for a little bit that he's missing, I like when I'm in the middle of nowhere, or sometimes even wherever you're working, using the top cover as a catch-all for all the hardware. So that's why I have mine like this. You see, Walt's top cover is upside down, and he's going to be looking for every little nut and bolt, you know, all over the place. Just a little thing there I thought was funny.
Yeah.
There's an hour on the memory card and the camera right now. We're going to get a running saw before we run out of memory.
Pen. Right. So we ran out of camera, ran out of memory, so we didn't get a chance to show the last couple of things. And I realized that looking at the film, sitting on that chair makes you look like a Mr. Potato Head because of the way the parallax of the camera head is. So we did put these saws together. I'll let you speculate on who got theirs together first. Is this organized one or the organized one? Not that it particularly matters, but it's funny.
Mine fired first.
His fired first.
It doesn't matter. The truth is, and it would have been better if we didn't run out of memory, because you had to download the memory chip. And some people suspect that, well, we wanted to make sure they were running, but the honest truth is, honest to God, they both fired up and are running good within just a couple of pulls. And it's
actually
legitimate. It's totally legitimate. And it should have been on the original thing, but we ran out of memory on that.
What was really funny was he yanked on that one when he wasn't quite done putting the covers in, and it ran for about 3 seconds. He goes, "What the hell was that?" I go, "I don't know." He goes, "There's no fuel in it. It ran anyway." So then I got mine together, and
But they're both ready to go.
yeah. So let's fire them up so they can see. So that's it, man.
They went together easy. They are pretty easy to work on. We don't have $100 between the two of them.
We don't, and that's legitimate. This was a throwaway because it was straight gassed, is what it looks like. and that was out of his junk pile. So this came to me for nothing. I assigned $50 to it beginning the video, and the used top end maybe 25 or aftermarket. So this is literally a $75 if you were to try to replicate it. You need a bar and chain. So this will end up being about a $120 saw.
That's Bob's muffler mob, right?
That's actually really not Bob's.
Yeah.
No, I didn't. That's just left. What's left of somebody else's. Makes a nice noise.
13.9. What are you going to set that one to?
Yeah, 13 or high 12.
I think with these low horsepower saws, it's all about chains.
What's this one here?
That is the 44 millimeter closed port from the 50 that had gotten crunched.
And what's it got for a chain?
It's got 3/8. It's got that goofy Vanguard chain.
Which is junk, right?
Basically, although it's cutting good, I spent some time.
What's this one?
That is a 46 millimeter open port. That has a little muffler tweak. That's running 325 with an 8-pin. I square filed it, and the thing is, it's kind of okay to do that for fun.
Yeah.
But the truth is, it goes downhill pretty fast.
Okay.
And it definitely requires a light touch in this hardwood. But the guys that are using this stuff professionally, they're using square ground for felling and things like that. They're not cutting logs that have been dragged, you know, a quarter mile through the mud. So it's kind of fun to play with. Honestly, as far as the recommendation goes, it's more fuss than it's worth for what most guys are going to do with a saw.
And this is a 50 or
That's a 46 millimeter open port, and that's got
the Husqvarna out of the box chain.
semi-chisel chain. So none of these things have the same bar and chain combo. Run pretty close, but another thing to be pointing out here, but you know, people draw conclusions. This one did this and that one. You can't say, oh, the 44 is doing this or that. These saws are all 20 years old.
Yeah.
You know, so there's other things that may not be consistent. Plus these two today, the gray top I've had for a while. These other two, we just threw them together today. So,
Yeah, these are the saws we put together this morning. I want to make sure I don't have my head cut off.
okay to cut it off with the camera, just don't cut it off with the saw.
Yeah. That was beginning to pick up power, no doubt.
Yep.
I wonder if that ring's beginning to seat. I want to do the square chain before we get to the knot.
Yeah, go ahead. That's it. Gotta have a light touch on that.
not that far behind.
No, they're all right there.
All right, I'll get out of the way.
I'm
Your
just gonna
turn.
get rid of the knot. What do you think?
Yeah.
I'll do them in the same order. Because then we're into this stuff here, so the log is what it is.
There's no doubt that one's picking up power.
Yep. They probably all will.
Yeah.
Good, but it's with that setup, it's kind of fussy how you feed it.
Yeah. Well, you can take it like the second or third cut. I gotta walk around and get a shot of that
Yeah,
chips piling out of the back of that saw. See, I think if you're in the bedding business for horses, you want that chain. It wouldn't surprise me if that saw actually cut as fast, if not faster, than the other ones. One thing it did do is make a bigger pile of chips.
Yeah. Yeah, there's definitely some differences in the chains. This thing, here again, I kind of want one of your aggressive raker deals. If the square ground starts to lose its edge, the aggressive rakers actually become more of a problem.
Yeah.
And it's just getting it's like a real small margin there where you could keep it up, you push it a little bit more and it stalls. So this chain, and I know this saw runs good, but this is starting to go downhill. Needs touching up. But I think if, not that we're going to do it, but you start swapping these around, they're probably all close. So, any of these saws, and this is, I know I've been saying for years that we're going to go throw a tape measure in the toolbox, but this has got to be at least a 12-inch super hard maple.
It is hard.
And I mean, these saws are 20 years old, and for what you would get into them, I mean, it can handle this kind of work. So.
You remember we had that video a couple of years back? Well, maybe it was it was a couple of years. We did the best firewood saw.
Yeah.
And we were talking about the time 2245s, 2250s.
Yeah. Well, that's what I've been trying. We're trying to get you to get into these. These are underrated. They're super underrated, and nobody, they don't get any respect to them. Oh, they're open port. What's wrong with open ports?
They cut wood. Well, the 55, the one we built this morning, that one's picking up power. I can tell.
Yeah.
That 44, I don't think it's that far behind. I really don't.
No, I don't think there's really. I think they're all right there.
Yeah.
But this is absolutely falls into the under $100 target. It's just, there's no more into this than that. Just piecing together some junk stuff.
I think that 55 gets a pop-up piston and a muffler mod.
Yeah, so that's what it is stock.
Yeah.
So you have an opportunity now to go play with your lathe and do things.